Next up, we're going to look at the windows on the other side. So that's this side of the building right here. Okay, so I've got some storefront element and I have a curtain wall element. So let's take a quick look at the plans to understand what we're trying to model. So over here, you'll see that these windows, they don't have one of those hexagons that that show you a number. Okay, so this is a custom window. And the note that it says is site-built window C A1.21. So A1.21 is this sheet right here, which basically just elevates those windows. And it just gives you some dimensions and stuff to work off of, okay? So we're gonna model this accordingly. This is a very custom curtain wall. So anyway, let's get back into elevation. These things are going to be 10 feet wide with a 1 foot space in between. And then they're going to have a 3 foot safety glazing there, 7 foot on this side, 2 feet to the mullion. And then this is going to follow the roof line above. So 2 foot 6 is to there, and this says 2 foot 9 1/8 approximately. Okay, so this stuff isn't perfect science, right? Sometimes you fabricate it on site or off site and you just make it fit on site. So anyway, let's get into it. What we're going to do here is work in elevation. Okay, so I'm going to, I don't know where my elevations are, but I know that that's going to be my west elevation. So let's go down into our elevations, go to west, and here's our elevated view.
So what happened to the elevation that they're not there? I can find that square that's showing.
Oh, they're just not showing here because they're in the first floor. You'd have to create duplicate tags. I will show you how to do duplicate tags at some point.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Or you could just go to your first floor plan and dig that up there. That part's an interesting like BIM strategy conversation that a lot of offices have to have internally. Is like, where do you put all of your live views and where do you put your fake views or tags that are referencing views like that. So that's, well, at some point I might talk with you guys about like how to set up files and stuff like that. But, okay, so I already know that I'm not going to be working with the storefront, so I'm going to get rid of that. And so this element right here is the curtain wall that I'm going to be using. We don't really have the like the detail and stuff on this elevation yet, but I am going to use, I guess, my level 2, or I should say the roof level rather, as kind of my basis. Okay, so I'm going to start modeling off of that. Now, one thing I think you guys need to be aware of is that drafting lines often need to be used for construction lines. Not all the time, but often they do. So this thing, I'm going to actually yank it sort of to the side here. And the good thing about these things is you can kind of like push and pull and put them in different positions that kind of suit your purposes. So that's kind of nifty. What I need to do is draw some drafting lines that are going to help me find that center column, right? So that would be this column right here. So I'm just going to hit DL. And I notice that these are my default lines. I'm going to give you a trick in the next video, but for now, let's just work with lines. And I'm going to draw a line going straight down. You'll notice that it shows up green. That's a default for Revit, that the lines, hard-coded lines family is green for construction reasons and stuff like that. So I'm just going to move this 6 inches over, and then I'm going to copy it 1 foot back. Okay, that's kind of a workflow I use frequently. So that allows me to, and you guys are going to like this, when I'm working with my, my window, I can actually just snap right to that line. So I know that that is exactly aligned with that 1 foot column that I need. Additionally, I can start to use my dimensions to work through this. So just like I have in my plans, this needs to be 10 feet wide, and it needs to start 2 foot 6 down from the roof level. So that's very easy for me to calibrate. I just say DI, and I go from here to here. That's 9 feet currently, and I'm going to go from here to here, and that's 2 feet. Yeah, okay. So also, let me just double check something in plan. Oh, that's right. I need another plan region. Okay, so I'm going to create a plan region here. I'm going to go from there to there, there to there. Oh, they can't overlap. I actually didn't know that.
But you cannot overlap.
Yeah, you can't overlap plan regions. That makes a lot of sense, though, because you can't have them showing two different elevations at the same time. All right, so I'll check that. I'm going to change my view range to something kind of high. So let's go to 10 feet. 10 feet at the top, and I'm going to change this to 9'6". So that should show me that window, which is hanging over the wall, which means my wall is modeled not exactly correctly. Let's do some investigation. This wall might need to move out. Second floor plan. Let's see. 24 feet from the second grid. That's 24 feet. Maybe my roof is modeled incorrectly? Three feet from the second grid, 3 feet from the second grid. Let me double check my roof. Should be 3 feet, 3 feet. That's weird. Huh. Hang on a moment. Let me figure out what's going wrong here. Okay, so just a heads up, guys. I realized I set up my roof wrong. These two actually need to move back one grid line. My bad. Check. Okay, cool. So all right, so let's get back to business here on this one. So that means I can just yank this thing with my window. I'm going to say move. I'm actually just going to move it to the center line, and then I'll just move it another 6 inches. Some of you may need to do that, some of you may not. Okay, so all right. So this thing actually does need to be 10 feet wide. You guys can't really, the interesting thing is, like, I can just pull this thing and yank it across, and it'll allow me to snap a little bit, but sometimes that gets a little finicky. Just be careful when you're changing those things that you're getting exactly the dimension you want. Otherwise, you can actually select it and then type in 10 feet right on that dimension, but it's going to, oh, whoops, that's the wrong dimension. This dimension, 10 feet. But then you got to kind of reposition it sometimes depending on how you did it. So anyway, that's an interesting little thing there that I think you guys need to kind of get used to, is modifying things that way. I just realized something, guys, that I think every single one of you needs to pay attention to right now. Everyone. What I accidentally did was I accidentally locked the edge of that curtain wall to another wall. Okay, and that's going to happen to you. I guarantee it. See how this little blue grip is on the center point of that wall? If I try to, say, move this thing, or hang on. If I try to move it like off that edge, see how it just gets longer? So what you need to do for that is you actually need to pull it off the wall. That's one option. And then you can move it. But then that messes up the width of the element itself, right? So it's no longer 10 feet wide. The other thing that you may need to, or you may want to consider doing, is right-click on that, and you can actually disallow the ability for that wall to join with another wall. So I can go to disallow join, and now as I pull this thing back, it can go to the edge, and it won't join. So that's a very important thing. This wall isn't joined anymore, so I think I need to rejoin it. Doesn't seem to want. Oh, because that's this guy. There we go. Okay, so let's get this thing refitted. It needs to be exactly 10 feet, and I'm going to pull this thing in to there. Okay, we need to be 2 feet down from the bottom, 2'6". So I'm going to kind of yank this thing up to 2'6". let's do it this way. I'm going to go down here with a line, 2 foot 6 inches, and across. And that's not letting me lock. You can use the align tool. That was align.
You can use align.
What? What was that? Okay. Okay, so 2 foot 6 is all you need to go down. Now, remember how I had you guys modify the profile of walls? So guys, this is the last element here. So anyway, in order to modify the angle of the top of this curtain wall, you can just edit the profile as well. So you select the item, go to edit profile, and the nifty thing about this is like I could theoretically grab these elements and just kind of like yank it up to the top. That's an option. Or I can hit the align tool and I can just align it to the underside of the roof and then hit check. Okay, so what does that do? It creates a curtain wall that exists in that space. Why didn't that? Oh, I know why. Because this is supposed to go up above. There you go. Sorry. So there are two things to this curtain wall. There's the panel height, and then there's the wall height. Those are two different profiles. The panel height will follow the cut of the wall if you cut your profile. So if I reset the profile of this wall, you're going to see the panel stick up above. Okay, is that clear? Does that make sense? So when I edit that profile, you have to have the panel height be above the wall. Otherwise, it just stays low, even though the wall datum line is aligned to the roof. Does that make any sense? It's a little tough to understand at first, but so anyway, AL, I'm going to go down there, remove constraints, hit check, and then it cuts down. All right? Questions?
You have to have mass in order to subtract from it.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, if there's nothing there to cut off, then it just won't cut anything. All right, so the final thing, guys, the final thing that I think you need to know about creating these custom ones is how to create mullions. When you create a curtain wall, you create mullions using basically these like cut datums. So let's go to the architecture tab and let's go to the curtain grid tool. The curtain grid tool allows you to cut mullion paths across the curtain wall. So I'm going to basically just place one at 2 feet across that, and then I'm going to place another one at 3 feet. So if you hover over the right-hand side of the curtain wall, you'll see that it shows where it's going to cut and a dimension associated with that. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to get exactly 2 feet on there, but I just got it right there. The other thing is 3 feet from this side. If I hover over the bottom side, you'll see that it kind of allows me to cut vertically. Okay, so whatever side you're on is the perpendicular that you're cutting. So I'm going to place this one at 3 feet. And then, I keep saying the last thing, but all-encompassing with mullions is how do you actually apply the mullions? Go to the mullion tool, and you can very easily say all grid lines. So click on all grid lines and then select that curtain wall, and it creates all of those mullions for that element. So that's what you're seeing here. All right. But we have one mullion that we want to remove. Just one. So we go to basically like this thing right here is not supposed to be there. So in order to remove that, you have to select the mullion grid. So you tab to select the grid, and then you say add remove segments, and then you select the segment you want to remove. It's okay to hit delete elements. Okay? So what questions do you have?
How much distance from the bottom of the window to the floor, second floor?
This is 2'6" from the roof level.
Okay.
Yeah, just use the dimensions you see on screen. And these are 1 foot.
I'm not going to put it as a best, as a kind of like when you have it at the best offset, it's not going to be give me options of roof.
You should have a roof level on your elevation.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to close this video.